Okay, so guys, welcome back. Yes, I took a break, a very short break, of course, to return with the barrister this morning. For those that are inclined or in tune with the show, or for those who don't sabi the show, say every Wednesday from the hour of 8:30 thereabouts, barrister and myself they always day here. And they always reason everything we guys do with legal. Last week now it was an open mic for us because we'll be open the phone line so that in case you get any question on maybe our past discussions or you get something bugging you that has to do with the law and all of that, you want to know more, we'll be open the phone line so that you figure opportunity to call and all of that. So today definitely we are intending to continue because we couldn't take so many calls last week due to some facts. Barrister we won't finish some questions where you don't get pending. All right, he's here in the building, of course, looking black and white as always. Looking and serious. You know how he does, barrister. I say your watch is going with your outfit. I'm just seeing that for the first time.
You want to make me blush?
Oh, I don't want you to blush this morning.
I'm not even saying blushing. I'm saying blush.
Oh, blouch.
I want to blush.
And I don't want you. I don't want you blouching. I don't want you blouching.
So nice to see everyone.
So nice to see you too.
And it's a good time in the house. Welcome everyone to this show. We always want to give you the best in terms of legal insights. Yes, last week we started with some questions and answers, and today we're going to continue. I have a couple of questions here, which is a calling, just calling, and let me answer your questions as much as I can, because I know so many questions have come. Some of them I've answered, some of them I told I'll answer you, but for some reasons I never went back to answering those questions. So if you have a time, you can ask your questions today. One of the questions I have here is somebody who says that I possess a property on lease for 5 years. The person rented property for 5 years, and part of the time is that I will take care of the land use charge and other bills. Now something just happened where we say is not covered by the agreement. Lagos State government is constructing and expanding the street, and which eventually has affected about 5 feet into our building. That aspect was also demolished. The question is this: who bears the cost of rebuilding, sir? Is it me or the landlord that occupies the place on lease? Of course, by reason of the fact that this was a structural development, let's call it demolition, based on structural rules, and of course you are not the owner of the property, you are only on lease. So it's the behoves on the landlord to provide a rebuilding or to rebuild and give you. Of course, there are things like the doctrine in law, you can call it frustration. Frustration means that something happened, we say two of them no contemplates, and because of that, as it not happen, you don't frustrate the contract. The contract be say, lease, I pay you money, you give me property. So there's a frustration element that landlord can say, look, I was not part of this. I never contemplated it. It's not as if I went to invite them. So it was not a breach on my own part. But the tenant can say, look, yes, we know we don't intend it, but at the same time, I have an extant contract with you, which means that you must provide a contract. So if there's a frustration, how do we go about it? So these are all the elements that can come into it. We set you. Another way is that sometimes you could have put a clause for force majeure. In law, we call them say force majeure. In case anything like that happens, I don't put aside contract. I don't think the possibility will say this can happen. And if it so happen, this is what you are going to do. If that is a part of the contract, then it can stand. But if it's not a part of the contract, then what will now stand? We say, now we call the doctrine of frustration. You can go to court, and ultimately, it might be like, court can say, contract is frustrated. And to that extent, the parties might have to bear their losses. The man bears the loss of demolition, you bear the loss of lesser space and things. It depends on how you argue this case in court. Second question for today. One woman called me and was asking about issue of investment. And I think we said something about that last week. She's thinking of investing in the name of her children. And those children, because she says she doesn't trust her
Husband.
husband, not even husband, and the husband people.
Oh,
yes,
husband's family.
Yeah, husband and the husband people.
It's okay.
So it's like so she's thinking of the investment. It's so bad that he thinks that if he does the investment in her name, the husband can kill her. And if he does the husband in the name of the husband too, the husband can still kill her.
So if she does it in the name of the children, won't he still kill
So
her?
that's what she's thinking and
They
what
don't
have
do
you
it
and
then.
what. But the issue there is that these children are underage, so it becomes a challenge. How do I invest in these children and put this investment in these children's name and still make it secure? Of course, what usually happens is that you can have a guardianship of those children, or you can have a trust for those children. You can even approach some corporate or even a corporate organization that can help you establish a trust arrangement whereby you can, because it can be, if the children are underage, there's some investment that is not for children under age. So if the children are underage, it might be challenging for you to prove the legality of your transaction. So to that extent, you can have, get a lawyer to help you do a trust in a way that those children, or you can even get an insurance company to look at what they can do so that, they can help you arrange the things in a way that the children will be able to go into it when they are maturing. It's a good idea, but you have to do it legally. Then the third question I have here is that somebody was promised, they gave money to somebody to help buy chicken. Yes, chicken. And, of course, they knew that it was a risky business. In fact, they knew. But the issue is that because they knew and because the man that was to go and get the chicken business from Cotonou brought in a guarantor to say that he will fulfill that mandate. Of course, I think it was part of an arrangement. So he brought in a guarantor. The people that wanted to get the chicken were also very afraid that what if the chicken was seized and things like that. But the person that said we're going to bring the chicken, because a large order, so he brought in guarantor that he will bring the chicken to Nigeria. Of course, that's about 2 months ago. He has not brought the chicken.
And they've paid.
And they paid him a lot of money. And so they are asking the guarantor how would that risk of the guarantor, because right now they didn't know that the guarantor was not as buoyant as they thought it was. So how would it be? Now, the first thing I go tell them, I say, anything we get illegality taint, anything we say contraband, no drum. And the government not say no drum, no go there. Even if anybody promises, say, now the thing that they do since my mama born me, now the things where they do for our family. If as they are paid, once there is a legality, make you don't go there. Because once you go there, to even go report, say
even if you get guarantor, say it's not a case that you can fight.
Exactly. To even go report, say this man duped me. He won't because he say he won't go collect chicken from Cotonou, or go do something from that side, or just anything legal. Both you and the person, they and catch the person safe. And your guarantor, all of now gbege. So no story for that one, no story. Now because you have done the wrong thing, and invariably your money is gone. Your money don't go. So that's one. I'm sorry that this is coming very hard like that, but really is that the moment you go illegal, that's why I tell people when you are buying things, be sure that you are buying from the right source. Like if you buy something which was stolen and they catch you for that stolen item, it's not your place to say that pay me back my money before you can collect it from me. No. The law is that thing was never even yours properly. You're supposed to go to where there's a market of that, where you can, buy things normally. If you now buy, okay, I go bring and come for this one, and anything happen, you cannot say you go get your money back. You can't get your money back. So that's why you have to be very careful about illegality. Like one woman now, where we say, for example, paper, the woman pay money to buy child. He said pay about 1 point something million to buy the child. You cannot get the money back because they don't catch you now. instead of getting the money back, now prison will go. So we'll go break.
But if she had gone to the maybe to a motherless baby,
and then
it would have been better, right?
Properly,
she would have paid too.
Properly registered, process and channel. You were paid. I mean, but that payment is not for the baby. That payment will have been for the administrative expenses, not for the baby. It's a different thing when you are buying a baby. Somebody went, stole the baby and it's okay. Or probably somebody, a teenager is having a baby. And that's okay. She cannot take care of the child. I'll take the baby over. And then there was a transaction. Even if it's
between the mother of the child.
Even if it's in code, just help. But the moment money pass hand, you know,
but Barrister, I'm sorry. Okay, wait, so let me go for the baby when I come back, because I actually wanted to know if there could be a transaction between the mother of the child and the buyer.
Oh, of course, it can be, but that transaction, because you cannot sell the baby.
Is it still legal?
Illegal,
rather.
It's very illegal because you cannot sell. That's you are
but
selling.
Then, whose consent do you need
for whatever?
Like for
no,
that.
There has to be. You see, when a child comes, even at the moment of conception, it is believed that child is not even the child. Is not owned by the woman.
Okay.
Is an entity of the state.
Okay.
So the state has the right to protect that child. So the mother cannot even trade that child. Cannot trade that child to say that I want to sell because of my inconvenience. Sell the baby to somebody else. You cannot. It's illegal. It's illegal. So if the mother sells, it's like he has sold a child. That is illegal. So no matter the consent, even the parents of the girl cannot say they want to sell the child. There must be, okay, this child has come. This child will go to the government. The government will say, okay, we are recognizing this child. Say, now child do, but the mother say, you know, if you take care of this child. So somebody say you want to take care of the child. So there's a connection.
So now the connection is between the government and
there's a connection
wants the child.
To properly say this baby is not for sale.
There should be a channel. There's a channel. Straight up, we open the phone lines. You can see for yourself questions and answers on general legal issues. Now there we can put this morning. So now it's time for you all to start asking your questions. Anything that is not clear, anything bugging your mind, anything where you would like know relating to the law this morning, please feel free to call those numbers with it on your screen: 08105434984 and of course 08173147589. Please help us turn down your TV volume. Remember to add us up on top of our Skype ID too. You can see for yourself at WAP TV. Yes, all of these mediums now they are available for you to make your questions to the show this morning. Barrister, now I want to know regarding protest in Nigeria. For you to carry out a protest, do you need legal backing, or you can just?
No, as long as a peaceful process. So the law says that you have the freedom.
What makes it peaceful?
You see, the law says that you have the freedom, the fundamental human right, freedom of association, freedom to express yourself, freedom to voice what you believe is right or wrong, so long as it's not against the law and what have you. So, nobody really, in terms of human rights dispensation, you can make a protest, but peaceful protest is that carrying placards and saying this, we don't like this, we don't like this, okay. But usually what happened in this part of the world is that it starts out with a peace process. But because you have a lot of entities who are also looking for how to foment troubles, find out that's why there is a place in England, Trafalgar Square, that you find that almost every day you find some form of protest, almost like a protest square, but police are permanently stationed there to manage the crowd, to whatever. From there, they will move sometimes they move to the commons and whatever, commons and what have you. Nobody stops them. I mean, those days too in Abuja, you move from Eagle Square, you move to somewhere else. But it's just that many times in Nigeria, when you have these things, before you know it, the area boys are started destroying what you're not experienced to destroy. That's why.
So it's not like you have to have a legal backing. Okay, let's take Momo from Abuja.
Momo.
Hello, Momo. Good morning. Momo.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi there. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys have been doing great.
Thank you.
Things have been tuning in.
Thank you very much.
So please go on with your question.
I actually have a question.
All right, go on.
When I did change of name, I continued with my school and I felt that I want to continue with my maiden name to put a consistency to my certificate.
Yeah.
How does that look?
It's you see, it's a choice. Actually, name basically is for identification. It's for identification, and it's always open by law to suggest how you want to be addressed, so long that you can legally authenticate it. That's why you can change your name, you can change your father's surname, you can change your maiden name by reason of marriage. So the customary, like what we call it, the norm is that after you get married, you have to change to, especially a lady, you adopt the surname of your husband. That's the norm in terms of. But you see, the truth about it is that Mr. and Mrs. so called is for the official reason to suggest the union of you and your husband, of the one and the wife. But in that's addressing you officially for that purpose. But in terms of living your life onwards, you can adopt different names in terms of, okay, I want to remain with my maiden name and be consistent. But when you are asked, my marriage status, married, but this is my name, it doesn't, allude. It's just like customarily or by convention, when you get married, you adopt your husband's name. But there are instances that Hillary Clinton, for a long time, was bearing her father's name, even until for so many people, they bore their names and went on and things like that. So it's possible that you can have consistency of your name with your record, everything can still go on. And it's also possible that it can change. And because when you change, that's why you have to do an affidavit and also a public notice to say that I formally bearing so and so, henceforth wish to be known as this and so. Okay. Documents bearing my former name will still remain valid. It's just like you're connecting both and instances like that. That's why it's up to you, really. Nothing changes that aspect.
It's up to you. Shall we answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure we did.
Okay. So then quickly, the other question I want to ask before our time passes is the issue of the landlord and the tenant. Somebody called me and said, I've not been able to pay for my house rent because of this COVID-19 issue. And, my landlord is disturbing me. Now, the question really is that if you and your landlord, there could be terms of agreement or landlord considerate. I got some from tenant rent from one of my tenants for a client, and my client was very surprised that the tenant paid because she was not even expecting money.
Oh, really?
She was not expecting money. She thought that because of the coronavirus, she would not be able to afford and whatever. So she was not expecting. So she was very shocked. No, but there are some landlords that are expecting their money.
I think it's just normal for you to pay. So it's okay for them to say, okay.
Yes. So to the extent that while the corona was on, you were not outside your house. You were not on the streets. There is a contract for payment.
Okay, let's take Ike. Hello, Ike. Good morning.
Good morning. How are we doing?
I'm very well. We did okay. How you day too?
I'm fine. They fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
I saw your legal matter this morning on the television.
Yeah.
I must be sincere. I want to divorce my wife of 30 years.
Who?
Okay.
Why is that?
I've been nagging and on the rest, almost taking me to do ritual. Woman I know for 30 years. She was putting us on 30 rings on the hand. Somebody told me I should check her. And I managed to remove that ring from her hand. When I did it, before I returned from work, she packed all my clothes, turned them, instigated the children against me. They beat me. I escaped away from the house that day. I put it upon myself that I married her, I could really cut registry. So I want to really see divorcing her and get out of my house and get out of body and go to any other place to relax.
You married her where?
I married her in that really customary court.
Okay, so it's a customary marriage as well.
Yes.
So
Do you want him to give you a call?
You can give me a call later. My number will be shown, but it's a customary marriage. So usually, ideally, issues that relate to customary marriage are treated in the light as the custom be for Nigeria. Now they go treat them, and now that kind of court, they call them customary court. Now those baba go there. We go judge your matter based on circumstance of your custom, of your tradition, and things like that. I did it was a legal marriage. Whether we go to registry, I'll give you another advice in that sense.
I think to discuss more on that, I think I'll give Vice
30 years, not be small.
Yeah, 30 years.
Yes. Not be small.
Give him a call after the show. Okay. I hope you were able to copy his details. His number is on it. You can just copy out the number and then give him a call.
I beg, sorry, take a minute, but 30 years. Just call me. We'll talk more. We'll talk more about this thing so that we can see. That's my number.
It's really scary.
No, it's a joyful thing at the same time. It has its own challenges. But it's like an inevitability that even siblings they fight. Siblings, twins, I don't see them fight before. There will be misunderstanding, and there will be clarity, and there will be issues. And as we grow, as you understand things and what have you, and that's why you have to be very careful. So as I was talking about landlord and tenant, if there's no agreement that your landlord will give you rebate for your rent, it's not your place to say that your landlord must give you. You can go and meet your landlord. If you have two and him can discuss. Many landlords are human. They are humane. So they will look at it, he can't pay and what have you. Okay. But some landlords, because probably he also depends on that money to feed his own family. It's a matter of compromise here and there. But there's no law that stops.
Right, so does my landlord have the right to hold my properties if I'm owing rent and I want to park?
The law is that could be self-help. Self-help is trying to do what he is not supposed to do. What I know that...
How does he get his money?
Of course. I remember one time my father-in-law had a bad tenant, and when the man was to go, they didn't even disturb him.
They allowed him park?
Oh, they just allowed him to park, but they just made sure that somebody, without him knowing, followed him to where he parked to. And they went on with the case. The smart one. They just went on with the case. Went on with the matter. And the matter, judgment was given.
But he does not have a right to hold...
So when judgment was given, they went and, the court just went to the house where he is, and Levy just carried his car. Carried his car, which was like almost not even up to the money for the money for the rent he's owing. He just carried one of his cars just to show him. Like I have some judgments against some tenants now. I have, and one thing about judgment is that it's a almost everlasting thing. So I can hold the judgment down. I'll not talk to you.
And you just come from
I just come and just say that judgment, we are going to effect it today. So it's a given. And I say, no. So that's why landlord has to be very careful, because in trying to pick one, they might say you are broken two. In trying to carry one, they say that it was 360, or they have about the money for 2 years rent inside one wardrobe inside. And when you carried it, you stole the money. So don't touch their property. No touch.
To avoid stories
and I thought story that touch the heart. Don't touch. But just find a way to ensure that when they are going, you find a way to know where they went to. And it's very easy. Very easy
to find somebody to
follow them and things like that. And
But then it's really not nice, because like you said, this is just how some of these landlords also feed themselves and their families. So even if you don't have the money to pay, I think the way you talk to them or you speak with them is
I agree. For some people, they think that landlord man is like, yes, the law is like skewed a bit in favor of tenants, because it's like tenants are seen to be at the mercy of landlord. But really, the reality is that the law also works for the landlord sometimes. So you have to be very careful that you are not pushing the limit by saying, I will do this. No, be careful that you follow the law, do the process. So you have not paid. Talk to your landlord. Find a way, a strategy of, okay, the money was not there, I can still pay. For example, many clubs that were closed down, churches, schools that were closed down, and your school is in a rented place. So what would happen? Go and talk to the landlord.
They need to. Anyway, so the only thing we can do right now is just to go because of our time. But then we'll be here again next week Wednesday. Or
Yeah.
So guys,
we'll take a new topic next week.
Something new. Starting off something
legal
new.
side of investments.
Oh, sugar. So you guys don't want to miss that. Thank you guys for joining us again today. Have a fabulous Wednesday.
And you too. Bye.